Hi, I'm Wes, the Explosion, and this is the Backlog. This week is a bit of a weird one, so bear with me. To start with, some free DLC dropped for Pokemon Legends Arceus, which was labeled Daybreak. This added a little bit of story where large groups of Pokemon are showing up where you wouldn't typically find them and you go out to investigate. They were kinda like the regular outbreaks that pop up, but what you find where are more randomized, more show up at each outbreak location, multiples pop up at once, and they only last for so long. It's another chance to have a better shot at a shiny, as well as some Pokemon that are much harder to come across. The story beats are simple, but give some characters more screen time, and it has a nice, peaceful conclusion to it. It does feel a little weird though, since I swear this is like the 4th or 5th ending I've experienced in the game. Besides that, there's a few other little tidbits added in, like more missions and extra battle challenges. I finished all the story bits in around 3 hours, but I might go back to play around with some of the extra side stuff. While it's not that chunky of an expansion, it does give an excuse to go back and play the game some more, and on top of that, it's free, so overall, it's a very cool addition. For those looking to get shinies especially. I also popped back into Shining Pearl since they finally unlocked the event to get Shaman, which was a neat little diversion. Hopefully the other Gen 4 Mythicals are forthcoming soon as well. Nintendo also released a demo for Kirby and the Forgotten Land. To put it simply, it's pretty fun. They give you a few levels and a boss to play around with, along with the option to play either 2-player and on either easy or normal. There were a handful of powers you can mess around with, not too many this early in, that play pretty similar to how they did in the past, just in 3D now, and felt pretty natural to use. Mouthful mode also works fine, the concept just still weirds me out. Overall, the game plays pretty much how you'd expect it to, based off of the franchise and the trailers. It can feel a little awkward at times, though that's mostly due to the speed, and Kirby has never been about going fast, so it's not too big a deal. There's also several things to collect, and I managed to find all of them, searching much more thoroughly than I needed to grab everything. It was only the first few levels though, so I imagine that a more obsessive look around might be necessary later on. I was already planning to pick this game up, most likely day one, and the demo has not dissuaded me. I'm looking forward to it quite a bit and would recommend at least downloading the demo to anyone who thinks it looks interesting. The whole thing took me about 30 minutes to clear, so it's not a huge time sink and is just enough to give you a feel for what to expect without spoiling too much. And then I finally got around to tackling some other DLC that's been sitting on my wishlist for a while, for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. In case it's not obvious, it's a Dynasty Warriors game that's a prequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The expansion pass added in some new story missions, extra battles, characters, weapons, and bonuses. Oddly enough, all of these need to be unlocked, rather than just them giving them to you since you already paid. Bit of a bold move, but I personally love unlocking stuff, so I found this very cool. I loved it when Smash announced when Sephiroth was going to drop, but made it possible to get him a few days early if you could beat him in a fight. I was kinda disappointed when he was the only one that they did this for. While I got through all the story missions, I still have a good deal to unlock, so I'm still playing around with the game. That said, picking it up again does kind of remind me of the problems I had with it the first time around. There's a lot more running around in this game than with other Warriors titles, with there being many meandering paths, and it also feels like there's less enemies and just stuff to mess around with in general. Not only that, but there's a lot of walls and obstacles to get caught on and tight areas that you have to fight in. All of this kinda gets exacerbated in the extra missions here, giving you some tasks that are kind of a pain, like an escort mission or one where you have a team of characters, but one is cut off from all the rest and their actions seem to be the only ones that matter, making everybody else superfluous. On top of just a bunch of situations where they throw a bunch of boss and sub-boss enemies at you, with more being spawned in faster than you can take them out, and some of the biggest among them being hard-hitting damage sponges. The final fight in particular got quite unpleasant. It can get very overwhelming, though I think having a second player would have made it much more manageable. The story beats themselves are also kinda weird, since while a few I could tell when they were supposed to take place, a few I could not. Regardless, I am still playing, as I said before, but I'm really not sure how long it will manage to hold my interest. I was gonna talk about this more, but I just can't find the motivation for this one and keep thinking that I'd rather just swap back to playing the last Hyrule Warriors game instead. Like I said, bit of an odd one this week. Nothing comes off the list, me just fiddling with Nintendo's free offerings and revisiting a game that I finished over a year ago, so we remain at 115. I did finish 2 books though, so that means that I'm smarter now than ever. Also, a week ago they announced Gen 9 of Pokemon. I wasn't sure if I would care, but after Legends Arceus and seeing the new trailer, I think I will pick up Violet and choose Sprigatito as my starter. They really did bring me back with Arceus, didn't they? Hopefully I can be a bit more proactive with my list the next week, but for now, thanks for watching, maybe subscribe if you enjoy this sort of thing, and perhaps I'll see you in the next episode.